In a new documentary by filmmaker and author and blogger Matt Walsh called What's a Woman, it's clear right from the get-go, the trailer, we're about to go on a journey with some folks who exemplify the frightening trans rabbit hole our country is going down.
There is not one particular thing.
It could be many things to many people.
Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas.
I like scented candles, and I've watched Sex and the City.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm a woman?
That's a great question.
So to a swath of Americans right now, women can mean many things to many people, and Walsh's questioning brings some shocking and disturbing reactions out of so-called professionals.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity?
Oh, boy. Nothing to see here, folks. Just American society in decline. Matt Walsh is here with more to tell us. Matt, how do you keep a straight face with some of that stuff? That's the first question I got for you.
Yeah, it was. There are times when you want to laugh, other times when you want to kind of scream. But we figured that the more effective strategy would be to just let these people talk, because the thing about what they're proponents of, what they're pushing, the gender ideology, is that it's so hollow at its core that there's just nothing they can say in defense of it. So all you have to do is just ask a couple questions and then remain silent, let them talk, and the whole thing just kind of falls apart on its own. Yeah, no doubt. But how did you set these interviews up, and what did you pitch to them when you were setting them up? You know, we gave a basic idea of the kind of topics we want to talk about, and there were even some interview subjects we had that said they wanted to get a list of some of the basic questions we're going to ask. We're happy to send those. And I think that one of the kind of maybe advantages we had going into this is that the people who are proponents of this ideology, it's like they can't really imagine, it's unimaginable to them, at least it was up till now, that anybody would really ask any skeptical questions about it. So they sort of assume that that's not going to happen. And that became really obvious in giving the interviews, that they've never been challenged on any of these topics. Even questions that you would think, given what they do for a living, they'd have easy answers for. They seem not to have those answers at all. I mean, I talked to a congressman who's a proponent of the Equality Act, which codifies gender ideology into law across the country. And I brought up just some really basic objections that I'm sure he must have heard before, and yet he didn't have any answer for it because he's just never allowed himself to be challenged, I guess. You know, Matt, and I'm a libertarian, and I kind of remember that you may have been at one point, but so I don't really care what adults do. I care less about what your gender is, what you want to be, how you want to do. I really don't care who you wake up with. My concern is when it's being when sexualization is being pushed on children. We were just talking yesterday about that bar in Dallas where there's on the wall it says with children, it won't lick itself, or doesn't lick itself, or it's not going to lick itself. Yeah. What age do these people think it's okay for young people to make a decision on their gender? Well, the real answer is like any age. I mean, from birth. In fact, I asked that exact question to a pediatrician, a so-called gender-affirming pediatrician, and she told me that I think she said there's evidence that even infants are already like understanding concepts about gender. So that's their answer, is there is no limit. Like as soon as the child says, "Oh, I'm this," as soon as I say that, then that's it. Then you just latch onto that, and so if your 2-year-old boy says, "I'm a girl," that's it. That's what they are, and you have to take that seriously. And then you take this thing that a child said just in a moment of kind of like imagination. They're just sort of babbling, as kids tend to do. You take that and then you turn it into a lifelong identity crisis, basically, which is what's happening to so many kids. Final question, Matt. Do they believe this? This almost seems cult-like. Yeah, I think that's. I think at some level, at least, most of these people realize that what they're saying doesn't really make any sense, and I think that's why they get so defensive and angry, is because they realize what kind of is under the surface of all this. So I tend to think that maybe at some level, at least deep down in their minds, they don't really fully believe this stuff. Well, Matt, you're creating a lot of waves and a lot of information. You're opening a lot of eyes across the country. Always good. Love the film, and congratulations, Matt Walsh, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you.